Hey Wargamers, welcome back. It is Tuesday and I'm doing my morale check a little bit late because my wife and I went away this weekend for her birthday and we had a really nice time, and Sunday night we were busy having a nice dinner and there was no time for the morale check video. So in any case, here we are with all kinds of things that have been going on this past week and also for coming up in the future. So let's get started. First of all, in November, Carnage Con. I will be running a couple of games featuring the 15mm cowboy miniatures, and we're going to be doing Fistful of Lead. And we'll have a fun skirmish game. It'll be 6 players. Each player will have 5 minis. 3 players will be cowboys and 3 players will be aliens. They'll be gray aliens. It's going to be a lot of fun. There is an info page on the Hobby Workshop blog. I will drop a link in the description below. Just to let you know, some of the things that I have been working on for this include these Papercraft buildings you see here. These were a lot of fun to make. They were pretty easy. I downloaded them from a Pinterest site that I found. So we'll be using those for the games at the convention. I have to say I agree with a lot of the folks that commented earlier on Twitter when I was posting these on Twitter. I do like the homemade ones better. However, the homemade ones take a lot more time, and I have committed to a goal of having everything ready to go for the con by the end of September, which means I've only got 3 weeks left to get all these things done. So the Papercraft buildings are ready to go. And then earlier today, I was working on these barriers. So these are just made with craft sticks and mini tongue depressor type deals. Some round ones, some square ones, just some log barriers for the various minis to hide behind during battles. I also was working on these built-up areas. These will represent villages in a grid-based game. I can use them for the Age of Penda, or we can use them for the American Civil War grid-based game that I'll be playtesting later on. We can also use them for the Imaginations game. I will be adding, there is a Vallejo Dark Earth acrylic mud that's coming in the mail. I should have that tomorrow. And we're going to use that on these brown areas. The green areas that don't have flock will be getting static grass. So these should look pretty good when they're done. I will, of course, share them on Twitter so you can check that out. I also have some sci-fi cardboard scenery that I picked up in a Kickstarter many years ago. It is still in the box. I haven't built any of it because when I bought it, I was very active in a gaming community, as it were, a gaming group. However, we wound up moving, and so I just left that stuff in the box, and I haven't touched it since but I think this will be a great opportunity to use that cardboard scenery to make a spaceship interior for the gray aliens, and the scenario will essentially be a kind of a Space Hulk featuring cowboys. So that should be a lot of fun. Again, if you're available and you're in the Northeast near Vermont, November 4th, 5th, and 6th, carnagecon.com, all the information. Badge sales and game sign up has begun, so be sure and check it out. And also, there will be more information as I get more put together for the games on the Hobby Workshop blog. Next up, let's talk about the Substack. For this week's post, we'll be reviewing the card-driven game Solo System by GMT Games, and we're going to playtest the Fantasy Grid game. So I printed out the print and play forms and tools from the website there at GMT Games, and I put these on cardboard. Actually, they're old. It's an old box top from Monopoly, so that should be a lot of fun. We have some really cool stuff set up for that. I think I've already shown some of this, but what we'll be doing is essentially, instead of choosing or rolling randomly for the game tactics, we'll be drawing cards and throw these down. These got a little dirty. They smudged a little bit. That ink didn't dry. These cards have kind of a glossy coating on them. So one team will have special spellcasting, 2 shoots, and a move. So there is a special die you roll. It lets you know which cards are available for which turn. And again, we'll have a complete video about this on Thursday. I'm really looking forward to getting the Lizardmen and Beastmen out again and having another battle. Next 2 posts for the Substack. The 22nd will be a full walkthrough of how to set up a wargame campaign by Tony Bath. This is the first episode in the campaign book club that I've been flogging for a while, and I just haven't gotten to it because I've been busy with other things, and with the ADD that comes along, things just have to get rearranged. So I do have it queued up, and we should be ready to go for that next Thursday. There will be a preview video available free on YouTube, but the full video and all of the text and notes, etc., will be available on the Substack. The 29th of September will also feature the design journal update for Hex Trail. I've been doing some work on that, and a lot of it is some theory crafting, but I do have some time coming up where I'm going to take a couple of days off from working, as it were, and really focus on getting some development done on Hex Trail. It is pretty exciting, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you all. The Hex Trail game right now, as it stands right now, there will be 2 versions that I'll be working on simultaneously. One is for Fantasy and one is for Black Powder, and I think when it's ready to go, we'll probably launch the Fantasy first. We will be doing some playtesting, hopefully, at CarnageCon on that Sunday, depending on whether or not I'm able to get all of the prototyping completed. Then in October, the campaign book club will continue, and we'll also be focusing on ways of playing sieges. I know that the siege rules for Hex Trail are very amorphous right now, but I do want to incorporate that into the board game, and I'm just not sure whether that should be a mini game, just a procedure that you follow, or perhaps if you want to play it out as a full-blown miniatures game, you can certainly do that as well. So Sieges will be part of the Hex Trail game, and I'm looking forward to going through some options and different ways of playing Sieges in October. And then November, we'll have the Carnage Con reports on how the games went, also the Hex Trail playtest results, and we'll also have some more actual play information on doing the Sieges in war games and in role-playing games. So that is that. As for the book club itself, we'll be going over this short stack of books, Joseph Morchauser's How to Play War Games in Miniature. This is part of the History of War Games project, edited by John Curry. He has got some amazing work in that he has pulled up these old wargaming books and is in the process of getting them reprinted. And there's some really interesting information here about how these guys were playing the games, 50 years ago. So this is pretty exciting. Next up after that will be Volume 5, where we'll go through Rules of Wargaming by Arthur Taylor, Discovering Wargames by John Tunstall, and Medieval Campaigns and Battle Rules by William Lamming. Now, this one has some very interesting economics information in it. I was doing some glancing through, and I'm looking forward to hopefully incorporating some of that into the Hex Trail game, because we definitely want Hex Trail to deal with supplies and logistics and things like that. Next up in the queue is Wargame Campaigns by C.S. Grant. This is another oldie but a goodie. This one brings us up to the 90s though, so it's only 30 some years old, and we'll be going through this in a deep dive as well. Then this is another fun one. This is part of the History of Wargaming project, also by John Curry, Old West Skirmish Wargames, Wargaming Western Gunfights. I'm looking forward to comparing how this plays against Fistful of Lead, and also against a couple of other systems that have been recommended to me by the good people on Twitter. And then finally, the culmination will be the most recent Wargame campaign book. Mr. Henry Hyde has just published this monster. It is 500 some pages. It is extremely heavy. It's extremely high quality paper, nice and shiny, heavy duty stuff here. I'm really looking forward to digging into this. So that is the book club information. And as you might have seen on Twitter, we also had a big discussion about the TBR pile, the to be read pile that people have. And some folks were showing off their stack of books that they've ordered and collected and haven't had a chance to get into yet. So this is mine. 3 of these are brand new. The rest of these I've accumulated over the past month or so, and I'm gonna have to put my foot down, not get any more books, because this will definitely keep me busy through the end of the year and probably beyond. Now, these two are from the Marine Corps, U.S. Military Publishing, which are available for free. All you have to do is go on the website. I'll put a link in the description below. Take a look. They have a ton of resources. These are really cool. Mr. Sebastian Bay, one of our Twitter folks, he's the editor of Forging Wargamers. I'm looking forward to digging into that, regarding how war games as a professional endeavor are being studied and being applied. And then this is an operational level command study of the Guilford Courthouse campaign in the American Revolution. I think that will be pretty exciting as well. So again, this is definitely full-on war game stuff. Here we have a new one, and I want to say that this was recommended on Twitter via Hathwil Khan, and I'm pretty excited to read this. Again, it's supposed to be super detailed with lots of information. I picked this up in a used bookstore. Actually, used bookstore here in New England. Unusual, interesting stories. We'll see what that takes. I'm willing to bet I can get some scenarios for the Imaginations campaign out of that. This one I'm extremely excited about. I have been interested in Joshua Chamberlain ever since we lived in Maine, and right near Bowdoin College, where he was a professor, and he was also a very important figure in the Civil War. This is a detailed biographical historical document that I'm really excited to dig into. The next one here, Lost Battles. This is kind of a game and a history book at the same time. Philip Sabin has created a kind of a war game in order to go back and take a look at great clashes of the ancient world. It has some gaming rules, different maps, and I'm interested to try this game out, as well as see how the box war game Dawn of Battle, it also approaches some of these games as well. So I'm curious as to how they stack up. Here's some fiction. Michael Shara. I have not read any of his Civil War books. However, I have read other books by him. So I'm looking forward to this. Not exactly light reading. And then the National Geographic Society created this book. Again, I found this in a used bookstore, and it has some great stuff. Color plates, history, and lots of pictures, which should give some good information and inspiration for the Imaginations campaign. So there you have it. That's all the reading. I do have a goal in mind, in that I used to read a lot more when I did a lot of commuting and rode a metro train to and from work, and I would read, I'd have 30 to 40 minutes a day each way, actually, to do some reading. And ever since the whole COVID thing, I have probably been spending too much time doom scrolling. So I have set myself a goal of reading for 1 hour each day, not necessarily from the same book, but probably, and really just sitting down, notebook in one hand and reading book in the other, and just go ahead and read and take notes and really try to get back into that routine of reading. But I just want to, I do want to let you know the Imaginations campaign is definitely still on. I believe we are on schedule for a January start time. I still have October, November, and December to finish painting the minis, which I think will could probably stretch that into January a little bit, because I think a lot of the opening videos and opening maps will be strategic in nature, and so there will be a lot of discussion of how the campaign is being constructed, as well as how to lay out forces, do the mustering, and that sort of thing. So I probably won't need any actual minis until February, so I should have time to get all these minis painted. So that's where we are for, what day is today? For today, for Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Please do check out wargameculture.substack.com. I encourage you to check out the free 7-day trial and then go ahead and click on the subscribe button. The more subscribers we have, the more interesting it will be in terms of conversation. There is a Discord that y'all can join when you become paid subscribers. And so I'm looking forward to building this particular community and having some great discussions with y'all about that. So in the meantime, the rest of my evening is going to be spent working on grid-based games and working on the magic and getting ready for tomorrow's video of the playtest. So looking forward to that. Have a great night and leave a comment below. Thanks, and keep on gaming.